Hey guys, it's Kayla. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do my book collection. So, I don't own a lot of books, but I own enough books that I can film this video and it hopefully not be too long. I'm going to show you all the books that I've read, all the books that I haven't read, and all the books that I've DNF'd, which is only like 2. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first book that I'm going to start with is the book that I read that got me back into reading, which was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I picked this book up at Walmart back in 2020, so it's been like 5 or 6 years since I've read this, which is crazy to think about 2020 being 6 years ago, because that was like peak time in my life. I digress, that's irrelevant. I picked this up in like 2020 after we were really in quarantine, and I was just really freaking bored. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna read it. And at the time, I don't think this book was as popular as it is now. Like, I don't think that it was as popular on TikTok and YouTube as it is now. I think it was still kind of a little niche. Because I remember picking it up and all the people that I saw read it were people that I recommended it to. So, yeah. This book is a young adult thriller, and it follows a girl named Pippa Fitzmoby who is 17, and she's a senior in high school, and for like her senior project at the end of the year, she decides that she's going to do a project about a local true crime case that happened in her town, where this girl named Andy Bell was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then murdered himself, so to speak. And you know, Pippa just doesn't think that that's what happened, just because there's a lot of like gray area, and she's like, there's like that, I don't think that's what happened. I think it was set up to look that way, that like Sal Singh was framed. So she interviews a lot of people, including Sal's younger brother Ravi, who wants to help Pip figure out what actually happened. And Pip actually does figure out what actually happened, but not before she gets herself into a whole bunch of trouble. This book was so good. I give this, looking back at now, I would probably give this book 5 stars. At the time, I didn't know that there was like a rating system. I was just reading to read. It was so good. This book literally had me feeling things after I finished it. And there's actually a show on Disney Plus now. Not Disney Plus, on Netflix now, about this book. So I'm going to have to reread it. And then, even though I'm not a rereader and I don't like rereading, I'm going to reread it just so I can go back and watch the show. So, my copy of the first book is a little beaten up, as you can see. She's ripped right there, and, you know, she's a little ripped over here too, and she's a little pink up here, because I used to bring this book to school with me, and she got a little beaten up. And this is from a highlighter that leaked in my backpack. And you know, this book is so good that my best friend at the time, I had got this book for Christmas, and I already had it because I had bought it at Walmart a few months prior, and I had also ended up getting it for Christmas. I'm like, well, I don't need 2 copies of the same book, because, you know, at the time my copy didn't look like this. So I re-gifted it to my best friend at the time, who finished it in 2 days, and she hadn't read in like 3 years prior to that. So that's how you know that it is such a phenomenal book. I need to reread this series because I don't remember a lot of the smaller details, and it's just such a good book that I need to rediscover, because it's been like 6 years since I've read it, so it's phenomenal. And then we have the second book. This is part of a trilogy, which means that there's 3 books. So the second book is called Good Girl, Bad Blood. She's hardcover. I got her on Amazon because, as I mentioned at the time, that book was still a little niche, so they didn't have like the second and third one in store. I had to order this one on Amazon. But I don't really remember what happens in this. All I know is that, like, after Pip solved the mystery in the first book, she becomes like really famous in the town, and she makes her own podcast called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is the first book. Or she like recounts all the events that happened leading up to her solving the mystery. And she's also dating Ravi, Sal's little brother, which is crazy, because she was 17 in the first book and he was like 22, and she's 18 in this book, and you know, he's still 22, so that's a little weird, but whatever, you know, it's not that bad. And I think in this book, she has a friend named Connor, and I think it's Connor's older brother that goes missing in this book. I could be wrong. She released a true crime podcast about the murder case they solved last year. Though the podcast went viral, Pip insists that her sleuthing days are behind her, but when someone she knows goes missing and the police won't do anything, Pip has no choice but to investigate. Jamie Reynolds disappeared on the very same night the town hosted a memorial for the 6-year anniversary of the deaths of Andy Bell and Sousing. It has to be more than a coincidence. So, Jamie Reynolds, who is her friend Connor's older brother, goes missing, and she has to look for him. And I don't remember what happens. I don't know if she finds him. I don't know if he's dead, if he's alive. I don't even remember. I don't. I remember, like, some things, but I don't remember a lot. So I'm definitely going to have to read. I remember the first book pretty vividly, but the second and the third one... Actually, no. I remember the third one. The second one's still a little blurry to me. All I know is that I did like it. So... And then after I finished the second one and I started on the third one, the series was finally starting to get, like, traction and take off. So I was able to find this one in store, and I bought it with a Walmart gift card for, like, $20. So, this is the third one. It's called As Good as Dead. The covers of these books give you little, like, spoilers to what happens in the book. So just look at the duct tape. Just look at the duct tape and the glass, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Because I can't tell you much about this book without spoiling the second and the third one. So, if I could read this for you, it would be... Pip is about to head to college, but she's still haunted by the way her last investigation ended. She's used to online death threats in the wake of her viral true crime podcast, but she can't help noticing an anonymous person who keeps asking her, who will look for you when you're... Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? Soon the threats escalate, and Pip realizes that someone is following her in real life. When she starts to find connections between her stalker and a local serial killer caught 6 years ago, she wonders if maybe the wrong man is behind bars. Police refuse to act, so Pip has only one choice: find the suspect herself or be the next victim. As the deadly game plays out, Pip discovers that everything in her small town is coming full circle, and if she doesn't find the answers, this time, she will be the one who disappears. So that's what this one's about. This is the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy by Holly Jackson. I highly recommend this series. But before you read this trilogy, I would recommend looking up the trigger warnings, because these books do handle very sensitive topics. Especially the first one handles a lot of really sensitive topics that I would say you just look up and before you go into the books. Like, I wish I would have looked it up before going into the books, because I feel like I probably wouldn't have if I had known that. But yeah, there's a lot of really sensitive things in this book, so please look it up before you read it. But other than that, phenomenal books, phenomenal reads, and I highly recommend with every fiber of my being and every blood vessel in my body, read that series if you're okay with the trigger warnings. Then the next book that I read, I think, I'm not sure, it's been so long, was this book called Offline by Donna Cooner. I bought this at my school's book fair, and this was the first book that I ever DNF'd. And not because it was bad, just because it wasn't, like, something that I was super interested in. From what I remember, it's like these 3 girls are influencers, and one of the girls has, like, a live stream, and her boyfriend breaks up with her on the live stream, and everyone at her school, like, makes fun of her for it. So they decide, you know what, we're gonna take a vow and we're not gonna go on the internet anymore. Like, we're taking a break from the internet. It's not that it's a bad concept. It's just, it seems like something that you would see on Netflix that's, like, rated TV-13, and you know it's for, like, middle schoolers, but you watch it anyway, and you're like, oh, that was really boring because it's not for your age audience. That's what this is. It's not bad, but it just, I feel like, isn't for me, and that's perfectly okay. I guess I can read you the synopsis on the back, and if it seems like something you would like, I would say go for it. People my age and older, I would probably say no, don't read it. It just seems very dull. So I had to take a break to get my drink. But it says, Annie Webb is constantly online. She loves following influencer accounts, DMing with her 2 best friends, Luna and Caitlin. and posting selfies with her adorable boyfriend, Jameson. When Jameson breaks up with Annie online, the public humiliation is intense, and Annie is overwhelmed by the cruel comments that pour in. To help Annie cope, Luna and Caitlin make a plan. The three of them will go off social media for an entire month, but unplugging is much harder than they thought. When the rest of their school finds out about the offline challenge, can the three girls keep their vow and their friendship? Acclaimed author, so that's what it's about. Again, not my cup of tea, but I'm sure that there's somebody out here that would love it, just not for me. Right, so the next book that I have is by an author who, if you were in middle school in the 2020s or the 2010s, you know exactly who this author is, and he's so phenomenal. Gordon Korman. I read this in 7th grade. I bought it at my school's book fair. It's so freaking good. This book is called Linked by Gordon Korman. And when I was in 6th grade, it was required reading for us to read Restart by Gordon Korman, which is such a phenomenal book, and it really left me in tears. Restart did. It was an amazing book that I had to read for school. So I will always recommend Gordon Korman as a good author for young adults and preteens and middle school aged children. I'll always recommend him. So this book I bought at the book fair in 6th grade just because it had his name on it. But from what I remember, at the time when I read this book, I didn't like it. But now that I'm older, I have such a fond appreciation for it because of what the message is behind the book. So this book starts off, what I can remember, of these kids find out that their school got vandalized with a swastika. And I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I just said it, so whatever. They found out that their school was vandalized with a swastika. And that leaves a lot of people distraught. There's only one Jewish girl in this school, so everybody, is acting really weird towards her. Some people are being really mean towards her and stuff like that. Well, this boy Link finds out that he's actually part Jewish. His grandmother was a Jewish woman in the Holocaust that had a baby who is Link's mother and gave the baby up so that way the baby wouldn't die in the Holocaust. Link never met his grandmother because she died in the Holocaust. So to honor his grandmother, he starts learning more about Jewish culture, and he has is it a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah? I know there's a difference between boys and girls, but I'm not sure. I think it's a bar mitzvah. He has a bar mitzvah, I think, in honor of his grandmother, her Jewish culture. And while, he's doing that and he's having the one Jewish girl at the school kind of teach him about this Jewish culture, a lot of the other kids in the school are like, you know what, we're not going to stand for somebody putting such a symbol of hate on our school. So we're going to stand up against that, and we're going to make a paper chain. And each link of the paper chain, which the little links are these little things, that's a link. Each link of the paper chain is going to represent one person that died in the Holocaust. And I think that the number of people that died in the Holocaust is 7 million, 8 million. It might be way more than that. It probably is way more than that. But I think that's what it is roughly. I'll look it up and see. So obviously, making a paper chain with 8 million links is impossible, but they managed to do it. And it really opened your eyes on the Holocaust and how many people actually lost their lives and their loved ones in the Holocaust. So I highly recommend this book for all ages, not only young adults, but I recommend it for everybody because it's just such a phenomenal book that handles such heavy source material and puts it in a way that makes it so easier for younger minds to grasp and be able to understand the real significance behind the tragedy that was the Holocaust and World War II. So phenomenal read. Hands down. Love it. 5 stars. Great read. And then the next book, I don't think this is the next book that I read. I think I definitely read more books between this, but for some reason it's in this stack. So I'm just gonna include it. I think I read this in 2024, so it's more of a recent read. But that is, it might be 2025. Let me check the publishing on this, because I probably read it the year it was published. Give me a minute. It was published, 2023, so I probably did read it 2024. Alright, and that is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is like the second book in a series, I'm pretty sure. I didn't read the first one. I just read this one, and that was probably my mistake. It wasn't my cup of tea. I DNF'd this as well. I read a pretty good chunk of it. I think I read like the first 20 chapters, and then I DNF'd it just because it wasn't something that I really liked. Like, I tried to force myself to like it. I did. It wasn't my cup of tea, and that's perfectly okay. Maybe I'll read the first one and then give this one another chance. Not saying that it was bad, it just wasn't my personal favorite, and that's okay. So I definitely read this series before I read Wildfire, but this wasn't over there. That's stacked for some reason. But that is The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I got this for my 16th birthday. Like, we went out and we went to a few places, went to Books A Million, and this is what I picked out as like my gift for my 16th birthday. You've actually seen this if you've been subscribed to me for a long time. I did like a Christmas haul back in 2023 when I turned 16. My birthday is a week before Christmas, and I only got like 3 things for my birthday that year, so I just included what I got for my birthday with my Christmas haul. And I showed this in there, so if you've been following me for a very long time, then you probably saw this. So that's a cute little full circle moment. But let me show you. I literally finished these like 2 days after I got them. I finished all 3 of them. Obviously, whoa, sorry, I literally just hit the tripod, y'all. My bad. Trying to set the books down, I hit the tripod. I'm sorry. But this, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what the series is about. It's a show. I watched the first season. I watched the first season of the show, then I bought the books, read all 3 of the books, and then season 2 came out. So I've read them, watched the show. The show was what made me want to read the books, so I bought them. So obviously it's about Belly. She goes to cousins every summer, and she's in a love triangle with, you know, her mom's best friend Susanna's sons, and that's basically it. And she's a homewrecker. I don't like Belly. I'm #1 Belly hater, especially in the books. Yeah, but the only thing I gotta say about them is that these books are super pretty. Like, look at that. Wow. But they are really short. They're like 300 pages. So this is the first one, which I don't really feel like sitting here and telling you what each book's about when literally there's a show. Yeah, but the first book is basically the events of the first season. But obviously the show added a bunch of stuff. And then the second book in the series, It's Not Summer Without You. This is the one where Susanna succumbs to cancer and passes away, and Belly and the boys aren't really talking anymore because she homewrecked them. That's why you shouldn't date brothers. Look how pretty though, literally so gorgeous. And then she gets with Jeremiah at the end of this book. So these books they're good. They're definitely good, don't get me wrong. I love them. I actually do want to reread this series as well. And then we have the last book. This book is the only book that I've ever finished in 2 hours. I think I finished it, and it might be 1 hour. I don't know. I think it was probably 2 hours. How many pages is it? It's like 300, I think. No, it's 200 pages. Wow. It's like 290 pages. That's so short. I finished it in like 2 hours, though, when I first got it. This book was so good. This one was my favorite. The third one I loved. I could not put it down. Finished it. I think I only stopped to use the bathroom, and I'm pretty sure I even brought it with me to the bathroom at some points. I was committed. Loved this book so much. The third one was my favorite. But this one is the one where she is dating Jeremiah, and then this man has the audacity to cheat on her, even though it's like a really prominent thing in the books that Belly's dating Jeremiah, but she's still a virgin. And that's like what made him cheating on her hurt so much worse. And in the show, they completely changed that. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it made the cheating so much worse. And then the whole like Stephen getting in a car wreck thing didn't happen in the book at all. That was something that they had for the show. Not saying it was bad, but you know. But let me show you this one without the dust jacket. So yeah, these are cute. They're really cute books. I think that you should definitely read them and then watch the show. I'm always going to tell you that the books are better than the show, but to be really honest with you, I think for this series specifically, I think the show is better, which is a crazy thing to say, but I genuinely think that the show is better than the books. Which pains me to say. It does pain me to say it, but the show's better than the books. I'm not saying that the books are bad, but they're okay. So that's the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I tend to read a lot of trilogies for some reason, and I don't know why. Do you see this guy over here? Hello? He's so silly. Then the next series I'm going to talk about is, I'm not going to go in super great detail about because I made an entire separate video about them, but we have The Lotlark Saga by Alex Aster. I made an entire video about this series. It should be like my video before last, so please check that out. But I'm just going to tell you like the book names. Did like an entire review about them. So this is the first one, Lotlark. This one has red sprayed edges for some reason. She's cute. That's the first one. This is the second one, which is Not Bane. I love this series though. It's so cute. I think they're very fun. This is the first fantasy series, fantasy romance series, fantasy young adult series that I read, and it's so good. And then we have the third one, which is Sky Shade. Let me show you this one without the cover. She's so cute. This one's probably, Not Bane's probably my favorite, and this one's probably my second favorite of all of them. They're so good. And then we have this one, which was like a money grab. It was 100% a money grab, but I bought it. So this came out in like September. It's this little duo book. So one side is Oro, which is this book, like this series, I'm describing really poorly. I described it so much better in my other video. But this series follows a girl, and then there's like a love triangle with Grimm and Oro, and this book is about Oro and Grimm, who are the men in the love triangle. So it's kind of like their points of views. It's their point of view of certain scenes from the books, and then their like origin stories. So here's Oro's side, which is the side that you should start with. And then here's Grimm's side. And then I can't show you the photos on the inside without spoiling what happens in the books. But there are photos on the inside of the cover that I can't show you. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. I think I did show them in my other video. So if you really want to see them, you can go watch that one. And then we have the fourth book in the series that literally just came out. This came out in December. I literally just finished her last month, which is Crown Tide by Alex Aster. And this is the fourth one in the series. And it has this really gorgeous cover. She wasn't my favorite, but I talked more about her in the video. So go watch it. And this is an incomplete series. There's still more books coming out in this series. So we're not done talking about her yet. Trust. Alright, so the next series that we have is the Hunger Games series. I started this in December. While I finished the Grimm and Oro book and I was waiting for Crown Tide to come out, I read the Hunger Games. I had to read this book my freshman year of high school as as required reading. And that was in like 2023. And I hadn't read it since 2023. So I picked it back up in like November, December to finish reading it. It was so good. And I was actually able to find these super gorgeous copies of all of the books. So this one's super pretty. It's blue. It says The Hunger Games, has the little mockingjay with the red leaves. And then on the back it has a quote, not necessarily from the book, but that kind of describes the book. So this one says, winning means fame and fortune, losing means certain death. And then the pages are red. I'm not going to speak too much on the Hunger Games books because I plan on making a video specifically about these books. I also watched the movies. So I'm not going to speak too much on this. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it's about. Katniss Everdeen winning the Hunger Games, destroying the Capitol. Fun. Love this series so much. Every book in this series is a 5-star read for me, except for one of them is like 5.5 stars because it was so good. And then we have Catching Fire. This is also a reread. I read this at the end of 2025. I read it I took a dystopian literature class at my school, and we read the second Hunger Games book, since a lot of us had already read the first one. And then I reread it in January. So, because I got these super gorgeous copies of it. So this one's super gorgeous. It's red. This is Catching Fire with the like yellow leaves. I also want to point out that the pages match the leaves. See, the leaves are red on this one, and then the pages are red, and then the leaves are yellow on this one, and the pages are red or yellow. And then the back has a quote. Katniss Everdeen survived the Hunger Games. Now the Capitol wants revenge. This is my favorite of the original trilogy. It's so good. And then this one we also read, which is Mockingjay in our dystopian literature class. But I reread it again in January, so I could prepare to read, the 2 prequels, which were the only 2 that I hadn't read yet. So that's why I reread the first 3, was because I wanted to read the prequels for the first time, so that way I could be prepared to watch the movies. So I reread all 3 of them. But this one's Mockingjay. This one's purple. It's got the pink leaves. And it says, "If we burn, you burn with us." Best quote ever. Gonna be my senior quote, you bet. And then the pink pages. And these look so cute together on like a shelf. I think they're so adorable. And then we have the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the first prequel. This one is about President Snow. I hadn't read this. This was my first time reading this. Those 3 were rereads, but this was my first time reading this one. So it was such a phenomenal experience. I was so close to giving this book 6 stars. I was so close. This is my favorite book out of all of them, but Catching Fire is my favorite of the original trilogy. It's so phenomenal. I've never had a book make me feel the way that this book made me feel. It was just so, I've thought about it ever since I finished reading it. This book just like, it deals, it's in first person. It's in Snow's perspective, Snow's POV. And it tells you a lot about him and who he is as a person indirectly. It's so hard to explain. But I went into this thinking that it was just going to try to give Snow a redemption arc. But actually, it made me kind of hate him more. And it kind of made me realize that, like, he was always evil. Even when he told himself that he wasn't evil. So, I love it. It was phenomenal. She's 5.5 stars. Sorry, my dog laid down and turned the freaking tripod. But I'm not refilming this because this is my 3rd time freaking filming it. And it's also raining. And I don't know if it's annoying or not. But, hopefully it's adding some ambiance to this video, because this is just a train wreck of a video, and I'm sorry, but it's the best I can do. But so good. I was so close to giving her 6 stars. I had to calm down because I gave every book in this series 5 stars, so she's 5.5, but I want to give her 6 stars. The movie sucked. The movie was awful. I did not like the movie. Well, that's a little harsh. The movie is a good movie, but it's a bad adaptation. It's nothing like the book. It's like they took the source material and just chucked it out the window. All of the important parts of the book, they completely left out of the movie. But the book was so good. I want to reread it already. And then I read Sunrise on the Reaping, which I actually finished a few days ago. And she's 5-star read for me. I was reading her at school, and like 4 of my teachers, and I literally only have 4 teachers, were telling me how good this book was. And that they read it, and that it was great, and that they're going to reread it so they can go see the movie in November. My English teacher, he was literally telling me how this is his favorite book, he loves it, and he's going to go watch the movie in November, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that. So, she's a good book, because clearly everybody loves her. And this is the only book that I have that has sprayed edges that have words. It says, "Our tears will not be used for their entertainment." This was such a good book. She got 5 stars as well. She didn't resonate with me the same way that the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes resonated with me. But God, she was good. And that's all I'm going to say about these books, because as I mentioned, I'm trying to save them so I can make a separate video solely about them. So make sure that you're subscribed if you want to see that. The next book that I'm going to show you is the book that I'm currently reading, which is Fourth Wing. I showed this in a haul video that I did a few months ago. I finally just now got around to reading it because I finished Sunrise on the Reaping. So I am, how many pages am I? I'm 79 pages in and I'm on chapter 7. So I'm not very far into it, but I really like it so far. I like the whole dragon thing, and I think it's going to be enemies to lovers, because I think Xaden's supposed to be the love interest, and they hate each other, and he wants to kill her, and I'm kind of into it. So, no, she's good, though. She has dragons. I'm only 7 chapters in, though, so I can't really say much about this book, because I'm literally only 7 chapters in. All I know is that she has a crush on Dain, and I've read books like this before, and I know how it goes, and we're gonna get attached to Dain, and then he's gonna do something and betray her and just be a jerk, and we don't like that. That's bad. So I think I'm probably gonna end this video here, because we're already half an hour in and I still have a bunch more books left to show you. So I think I'm gonna end this video here, and we'll upload the second part next week. But thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!